Whoops. Okay, good afternoon. Well, it's still morning right now. We are going to be starting unit 11. It is our last unit of the year. We are going to be working on lines and angles and triangles and polygons. So we're going to start off nice and easy with kind of an easy objective. So let's look at CO64. I can identify and label points, lines, and planes. So to do this, we need to start off with definitions. Definition of a point is a dot used to represent a location. Always written using a capital letter. So when we label a point, it's always a capital letter. So an example will look like that. We have our point A, and we call it point A. When we have our polygon, if we have it labeled like this, X, Y, W, X, Y, and Z, and we have our points at each corner, we would call this figure W, X, Y, Z. So when we have 4 points, when we have points that make a figure, you connect it, those polygons, we call it figure, and then whatever the points are. And we always tend to go alphabetically, just to make it easier when we're labeling our figures. So the point, we call point A, and then if it's a figure and it's all connected, we would call it by all of the points. That's how we get the name of our figures. So a line connects 2 or more points. It is straight. If it's a line, it's going to be straight. And a line goes on forever. Because it goes on forever, it cannot be measured. Make sense? If it's a segment, it has a beginning and an end point. So we can measure it. How long is the segment? A line goes on forever. So if we have point A and point B, we can connect them, and we do the arrows to show that it's going to continue on and on and on. We could write this as line AB, and we put our little arrow line above it so we know it's a line. AB is a line that continues on. Or we could call it line BA. It doesn't matter which letter we put first. We could call it line AB. We could call it line BA. We could also put an L here to say it's a line. So we could call it line L because there's that L there showing that it's a line. Joseph.
Can you slow down a bit?
Yes. I'm going to go over this too. So we're writing it out and I'm going to go over it again. So we have 2 points, points A and points B. We connected to make a line. Lines go on and on and on. Not a good choice. And we could call it L for that line. So this right here would be line AB, or we could say line BA, or we could just say line L, whatever letter is there representing that line. So we have 3 different ways that we could label that. So we have our dot is just that point. We have the 2 points connected is our line. And now we have a plane. A plane is flat, 2-dimensional surface. That extends indefinitely. So a plane, it's flat, like this piece of paper. It's a flat plane. The difference between a plane and this paper is this paper stops. It has a starting edge and an end edge. A plane goes on indefinitely, just like that line. It just goes on and on, like the Earth. The Earth is a sphere, so this is a little different. A plane just goes on and on and on, just like the Earth goes on and on and on and on. Maybe
How is it different from a line?
A line is connecting these 2 points. So a line is just a straight line. A plane goes in all directions. So a line is just that line, just one line, whereas the plane goes north, south, east, west. It goes on and on and on. Like, think about the Earth and think about the equator. The equator would be a line going around the Earth, right? But the ground would be the plane. It's not quite the same because it's a sphere and we're talking a straight, but it's that same idea. The difference between the equator and the ground would be like a line and the plane. Colin? But 2-dimensional doesn't mean 2 directions. 2-dimensional means that it's flat.
But 2-dimensional means two axes.
I would have to look up the definitions of the different dimensions to go with that. The difference between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional would be like you have a square and it's flat down. I already said yes. It's flat down, whereas a cube is 3-dimensional. So it's got that height to it. So the difference between like a square and a cube is you're adding in that 3rd dimension of a height. So if a square is flat on the ground, that's what a plane is. It's just flat. Is that making sense? The line is just a straight line, whereas a plane goes on in all directions. So here it would be an example. In this plane, I'm going to label some points, A, B, and C. And I'm also going to put an R there. So I could call this plane A, B, C, or I could call it plane R, because R isn't a point in the plane. R is just the name that's given to the plane. So we don't have a dot next to the R. It's not, there's no point there. So we could call it our points that we have in the plane, plane A, B, C, or we could call it plane R. Just like with our line, it could be line AB, it could be line L. Does that make sense? Okay, we're gonna stop there and we're gonna look at the bottom of this page after lunch. So for my friends at home, we hope you are well and hope to see you soon.